We are back with Susie. I am so happy and so grateful. So let me ask you, if somebody wants to start a GOGI community group, either virtually or in person, how did you do it? Certainly, you didn't have to buy materials, although you did buy materials to give away at auctions and things. You didn't have to go through training. You didn't, all you said was, these tools work, I'm in. So tell me about that, because I know a lot of people, they've called me and said, well, what kind of training do I need? I don't feel comfortable without the training. And what advice would you give to anybody like you who might need something for their population?
Well, I think first of all was we really had a desire. I could see the value in many levels. And I think also too, you did provide training. We had Coach Jacob that walked with us. It was important that we had a core team that was learning all together so that if somebody was absent, somebody else could fill in. And we were getting buy-in by doing that, right? Just in our own community.
So if somebody wants to start a group, they can ask GOGI, can you have somebody sit in a few meetings and get us up and running? That was helpful?
Very helpful to have Coach, because we didn't know, because none of us had really been to a GOGI meeting, right? Everything we saw was online. And so for Coach Jacob to show us first, how does he run a group? We could walk through the manual with him. And then he said, okay, after he did it a couple of times, he said, okay, now one of you are going to do it. We're all like, are we ready? He said, don't worry about it. It's okay. You can make mistakes. There's not about perfection here. Everything is laid out in the book. And I would say that the manual is laid out so that anybody could pick it up and follow the step-by-step, just follow it. And I love that it's written that way because it's so helpful. No one should be afraid to try to start a group with the help of having a coach if you've never seen GOGI before. But a lot of the people I think that are coming, they've been involved with GOGI. So they've already been to a group, they understand how it runs. And that was helpful. But it was helpful to have Coach Jacob walk through a couple of groups for us. And then, we just ran with it based on the manual and off we went. And I think consistency counts with any support group that you start. Not always are you going to have people all the time show up. It takes a little bit, but don't give up. It's consistency that counts. And I always would say to myself, if one person shows up and it changes their life, and my life is changed by my engagement with them, it's all worth it.
So tell me, what consistency, if somebody wants to start a GOGI support group, and let's say they reach out, they email GOGI and they say, can we get a coach to come in and help us? Absolutely, we can do that. By consistency, do you mean like weekly, regular time, regular log? What are some of the things that are required to kind of super glue the effort together?
I think you need to pick the same day of the week, the same time, right? And have the same link if you're going to do it online, so people make it as easy as possible for people to find you, right? And then the next thing when you're trying to build your group is to do the marketing piece in doing the outreach, making sure that your own network knows about it, and start there, and then ask everybody to bring a friend. The GOGI rules are that we don't want to have more than 12 people in a group. And really, we have ran groups with more than 12 people because nobody wants to go off into another group. But it really does a disservice because not everybody gets to speak. Not everybody has the time, unless we're going to run a 2.5-hour group, which again, you can't really do because people have lives and families. And so I think sometimes I feel like, there's only 12. There's only 13 right now, Susie. And then when time starts, we got like 17 in our group, right? But then we don't want to stop halfway through. And so we just go with it. But I do recognize, in order to make sure that people have value. And I think that's a very key piece when you run support groups is that making sure that everybody has value when some people want to just sit in the space. They don't even want to talk. They just want to absorb, right?
Yeah.
And being really keen and knowing the people and reading those social cues of people so that they feel comfortable. You can tell someone's having a bad day, give them some extra time. Ask them. I mean, make them know that you care. And I think that the GOGI Lifers group we really care about each other. And that's the foundation, I believe, in GOGI, is that you've got to care about yourself and you got to care about other people, or this is not the program for you, right? Because this is about service, servicing other people, servicing ourselves. And like in our Pacific Island Polynesian way, is that if everybody is doing that, then everybody is served. But what happens is when we come to this American culture and this be all you can be versus what is good for the collective group, then people are left behind. And that's what I love about GOGI, is that nobody's going to get left behind. I always tell people when they say, well, I don't feel like going to GOGI, I'm like, well, maybe that's the best time to come. You don't have to talk. Just sit in the space. And I promise you, you will gain something out of it, even if you just feel your heart and your spirit is lifted just by listening to people laugh and listening to people's stories. It will change your life.
Was there a time in this process where you thought, I don't know if we're going to make it, when like fewer people showed up? Was there, like, if somebody is going to do this, it doesn't just automatically pop and you've got 12 people who are regularly showing. What was that threshold that when you reached that wall that you knew, oh yes, it's going to be sustainable? This, when you ended up in the hospital and we were all really worried about you, you knew your GOGI group was going to be taken care of. But some facilitators, if they don't show up, everybody abandons ship. How did you get to that point? And what did it take for you to overcome the inherent, natural, definitely inevitable obstacles in those first stages?
It's funny, I told James the story and he didn't know this. He said, when we started this GOGI group, it really was supposed to be for just Pacific Islanders and Polynesians, right? And Paul Tuivai was the chair for our men's group, and this was kind of falling under our men's group. And then more white people started showing up and non-Polynesians started showing up. And I kept saying to Paul, this isn't right. This isn't what we're supposed to be. This is not what we intended. And Paul said, calm down, Susie. It's okay. He said, so we changed. So, we meet people where they are, and you meet the people that are coming and showing up. And we're grateful.
I think that's beautiful, because really it's about the aloha and about the mana. It's not so much about what island were you born on. It is what the Pacific Islanders are bringing to the United States and to the world, is that aloha and mana. And the people that were born on other islands so desperately need that. So I think absolutely perfect that the Pacific Islander group is all about that love, that mana, that in your
very multicultural, right? But I was the one that was pushing back on Paul.
You
Paul,
were?
this isn't what we were supposed to do. I thought the plan was, he said, yeah, but so let's just enjoy the people that are coming. And they seem to enjoy being with us, and we enjoy being with them, and we can all learn together. And he kept telling me, Susie, just calm down. It's okay. I said, okay, Paul, well, I'll just follow your lead. And gratefully so, because I've seen the Pacific Islanders that are participating, they live in a very closed society, right? And this is probably a lot of the non-Pacific Islander friends they have.
Yeah.
And that we're teaching that you can be friends with all people. It doesn't matter, with all different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And GOGI is that, I think, I always say, if you have something, the shared collective thing that you share, then all the rest of that other stuff doesn't count.
Right.
We're all focused on one thing. And that is our goal, is to learn about GOGI and refine ourselves to be the best people we can be And we are going to cheerlead for each other to be the best people we can be. And also when there's setbacks, that we're going to be there in a positive way to say, it's okay. I always say this, 10 steps forward, 2 steps back, we're still 8 steps ahead,
Yeah.
right? One of
Yeah.
my favorite GOGI tools is to say when we feel, and I don't even think they're called mistakes, I call them learning challenges. Because
Yeah.
as long as we're learning something out of it,
Yeah.
and we then are able to make it a strength of ours, then all of whatever that mistake was just a challenge that we learned from.
So if I'm tasked by my boss to start a GOGI group and I'm listening to you and I'm saying, that's great, but she can do it. I can't do it, but I'm supposed to run this group and I don't know anything about it. What would you say to the person who maybe lacks a little bit of confidence, but they really want to serve their community in this way, or they really want to develop a forum and a format, a GOGI meeting where mana and aloha can happen? What would you suggest to that apprehensive facilitator?
First of all, feeling confident that the tools work. You have to first be yourself and understanding and know that the tools work. Once you're armed with that, then you are out looking like, here, let me share the greatest thing that I've just come across, right? And then it helps you not be so shy about sharing. And I use this example a lot, especially for women. Have you ever gone grocery shopping and you see that bananas are on sale for 10 cents a pound? And you call up everybody you know and you say, oh my gosh, it's Smith's, they're 10 cents a pound. It's the same thing, right? When you know that you have a very special thing that will help people's lives, then it's much easier because people hear the conviction and the passion in your heart. And usually the people around you can see the change in you. So I would say for that facilitator is live the GOGI life. Let the tools work within you from the inside out. And you will see that people will come to you saying, oh, wow, I see a change in you. You seem to be happier. Oh yeah, join me on Wednesday. Come and learn these tools. That is one way. And I think the other is marketing. Being able to just open your mouth and tell your own network and saying, this is what I'm doing. Would you, and saying, I need to practice. Could you please come to my group and let me practice in front of people that I feel comfortable with?
That's a very good idea. So if I'm an apprehensive facilitator, I can have family or friends log into my meeting and I say, okay, we're here for our GOGI Power Up meeting. Okay. So kind of practicing on people where you're safe.
Yeah. And then once you'll see that people will like, oh, I want to come back. What's the GOGI tool next week, right? And then little by little, when you have consistency, when you make sure that you, as a facilitator, and when with our other groups, is that the facilitator is not there to really gain. The facilitator there is to move the conversation forward. And I tell our facilitator, if you need to go to a group that you're not facilitating, so you can be a participant instead of a facilitator. Nobody wants to go to a group and listen to the facilitator talk the whole time about their life story. It's about engaging every person that's in the room into the conversation. And that's how I think people find value in the space, that it's safe, that they can share their own stories in any way they want to without any guilt or shame or judgment.
So here's a question. If I'm facilitating, I'm going to be afraid that no one's going to talk and I don't know what to say. So if I'm a first-time facilitator or I've done it a couple times and people are quiet, I don't know they aren't talking. What do I do? In that case, how would you inspire that conversation that becomes so robust in your meetings? They're just so alive and loving. How do you get there?
Well, the manual you have created, that it's already pre-built for you. You don't even have to look because you can just flip to the page that's got the questions, thought-provoking question, and just throw it out there. Hey, what do you think about this question? And start a conversation and being a good facilitator is knowing the people that you're there and giving people space, calling on people, and also letting them know you don't have to feel like you're on the spot. You can say no if you're not feeling it, right?
Mhm.
That's also, we always say in our groups, you can always say no, it's an answer. If you're not feeling it, we're just grateful that people show up and that they're sharing space. And I think that is the other thing is when people come to our groups, we know when they're missing. And it's funny because I'm surprised I'm not the only one. Like I'll call someone like, hey, I didn't see you on Tuesday. Is everything okay with you? Or I'll text. They're like, oh my gosh, I had like 3 people from GOGI. And I always say, because we missed you.
Yeah.
It didn't matter to us. We
Yeah.
recognize when you're not here. And those little types of things, that is caring. That's caring about people and being of service of each other. It will automatically grow. And just, people just not give up, show up every time and know the GOGI tools. I feel like, I've started groups before where nobody showed up. I would take my laptop and just work, or I would go through the group that I already had set up in my own mind that I was going to do. I think everybody can learn more. There's always more to learn.
You said something about marketing. Now, I know I like your Facebook page and I see announcements, come join our GOGI meeting. What marketing tactics might somebody use? I know you're great with the Facebook, but what else? If I'm starting a GOGI meeting, what are some of the marketing things that I could do to interest people to just drop in and say hello kind of thing?
So we do outreach when we do face-to-face outreach, when we're out at events, we always have a GOGI flyer out, and we share our support groups that we have. And the other thing would be all of your social media platforms and emails. I mean, and every time you get an opportunity to speak at a conference or something, take it, apply, and share you'll see. I mean, just in the little time that we've been doing, the few years we've been doing this, how many people have come because they've heard from somebody else or they know somebody else. So I think, and you have to do a little bit of all of it. You can't just do one thing, but, work at it every day. When I spend maybe 15, 20 minutes a day on doing social media stuff. I mean, we have a team of people that do it, but me personally, asking every person that comes to GOGI to please bring a friend, to please share it, right? That also will be very helpful in growing. As people see change in you and change in the people, it will sell itself. When they see the personal change, when David showed up at our men's group and Simi knew him from before and said, that's a different person than I knew, right? And David said, it is GOGI, and that he was a GOGI coach. And he started telling me about the tools. And he said that this is the way he lives. And I was like, okay, if Simi could see the change in him over the years, then like any other program, I always say, you got to work the tools. You can't just say it doesn't work if you don't, whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And with GOGI, I feel like whatever you put into it, it's magnified by 100%, that it comes back to you in so many more ways than just personal refinement, but also in new friendships, in new perspective. And just I've met some great people, honestly, that are in the same vein as I am, and you really get to expand your tribe.
Beautiful. I love a tribe of aloha and mana. I love that.
Yes.
So
yes,
if I am a facilitator, is it possible for me to come to your GOGI Lifers meeting? Can I hop into that meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And
we always want new people. And we've had some very funny things with this online. One time we let all these people in, and then all these like new pictures started coming up and swear words. We were all like, they were like, Susie, shut it down, shut it down. I'm like, well, how did this happen? So we are now a little bit more careful of who we let in, but we also know the button to bounce someone out. So we've had to learn some experiences of people, and
hilarious.
Also know that people that are coming back into from incarceration, you know, GOGI Mom has done this little class on how to use your phone. Because that is not an easy thing to
Right.
learn how to participate. And
Right.
so sometimes when we have new people, we take it very slow when they come to group. And how do you change your name? And how do you know, yes, you're on mute, push unmute. And, you know, again, we all been through that have been incarcerated, coming back and learning these new tools that we need to have to thrive in this new world that people are coming into. And I think it's just, again, giving people grace, right? And caring about people. I always say it's people over politics, people over policy. It's about the people that count.
Right. Well, and you do a wonderful job with offering this meeting to the public. So can they go to your Facebook page if somebody wants to hop into your meeting or get the free PDF or the meeting manual? How might they get in touch with you?
You can always go to our GOGI Lifers Facebook page. You can email me. You can call, and any of the people that come to our class, whether that be Coach James, Coach Robert, Coach Al, GOGI Mom. There's so many people that, and I've been really impressed that people like coming to the group, and you know, like, I'm very humbled and grateful because every person that comes there adds life to the group and adds contact and makes it a very rich conversation with the more diverse people and views that we have. So I'm very grateful for all of the GOGI Lifers that come. We're excited. We're going to try to get together in LA in July because that's how much we like each other. And we actually want to pay and come and meet people and see people one-on-one and just get to know each other. And I think incarceration takes, and families of incarceration have suffered through a lot of separation. And I think that GOGI helps with interaction and true, genuine love and care for each other. That so much in the world, we're missing that.
Yeah.
That interaction with people, instead of trying to get over on each other and just loving each other for who we are and appreciating each other. So I'm always grateful to meet new people on our GOGI Lifers because I know that we're going to learn more from them. And I love seeing the transition of people that are coming out of prison and love to be cheerleader of, I always share this like with James and some people that are coming out is in our Polynesian, in our Tongan way, the sister, she pretty much calls the shots on brothers, right? So I always tell them when James came out, I said he was having a problem with his Facebook with all these women on his Facebook. I said, okay, in my culture, I'm your sister, so they have to come through me, right? So I have to approve, and some of the Polynesian guys like, oh yeah, that is our culture. Our sisters say, and so I always say I'm that sister to all of the guys from GOGI Lifers. Like, okay, I'm gonna have an application for your girlfriend, health records, we need a credit score, all of these things before, because you guys are all great people, and so it's kind of just a joke between us, but they're starting to understand that cultural family and village, that no one is left behind, and that whatever we can do,
What's so amazing is, the ohana that you bring. I would say that more than anything, you bring the essence of what a GOGI family truly is.
Yes.
You do ohana the GOGI way, I think.
Yes, that is so true. I am definitely a GOGI lifer. I mean, become my family as well. And, I think as we rise together and we continue to work on ourselves using the GOGI tools, just have appreciated the education and the self-reflection that GOGI has provided for me and can do for every single person. I mean, I am I tell everybody about GOGI. And again, when you have something that will work and will help people that you care about and love, and even people you don't even know, you then are confident to share that with people because you want them to have a better life and improve their lifestyle as well.
Well, as we get messages on our website, we get inquiries. I hope you don't mind if I kind of loop you into the people will say, how do I start a group? I need to have it at my prison, at my home, my church. If I could loop you in and certainly send them to your wonderful Ohana, the GOGI Way meeting, I would love to do that.
Yeah, we'd be great. I'd be grateful to help and happy to help anybody that wants to start a group and then come to it and kind of just see what the format is. Because I think that was hard when we had never been to a GOGI group. We didn't know what that format was going, if we were doing it right or wrong, or, now I learned there really is not a wrong or right way. And the manual is laid out so well that anybody can pick it up and can work through it and learn from it. So I appreciate the work you've done, Coach Taylor, in the years that you have put into this and the interviews and all of the people that were in prison that made these tools readily available.
Incredible, huh?
Everybody, yes.
Yeah, this was a gift from a lot of prisoners who suffered a long time, and they were actually the ones that developed the meeting format. By the way, the meeting format for anybody who's watching is available free. Just get to our website, email us, and we'll send you the manual. Of course, you can purchase a printed copy, but we can just send you the free PDF. So even the meeting manual is free. So to our audience who's watching, don't hesitate. Start your meeting. You got Susie in your corner. You have GOGI
happy
coaches.
To help. Reach out.
Right. You got GOGI coaches waiting to help you too. Susie, I so appreciate your time and your enthusiasm and your dedication to being of service. You certainly have very large angel wings behind you. I can see them. and much ohana to you and our little GOGI family that you're creating. The family keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
It sure does. Well, and thank you so much for all of your years of dedication so that we have the GOGI tools in the method and in the way you've laid it out. It's just beautiful and so easy and is helping so many people's lives.
And now the Pacific Islanders have hit the shore with their DNA intact. Now they can move forward with the GOGI tools. It's all yours.
And I think that's for any group of people, right? I mean, I love the work that's being done in Africa and in that using that cultural relevancy to make this work for all to feel like they belong. I think that's really important for people to feel like they belong and that they're included. Because so many years, many of us have felt like we're the weirdos. We're the ones that don't fit in. And now we get to have our own tribe where we feel like, we've invested and we have emotionally invested in the time with each other. And that now has become a family for us. So,
I love that.
So much good.
Yeah. GOGI for life and GOGI for everyone.